reasons for being in this world. We all have our purpose. Utopia is a story about a genius scientist who made horrible viruses.
Ebola, MERS, Zika. Predicted in Utopia years before the first case in the real world.
Yeah, you're one of those, huh?
It all has to mean something.
What have you done today to earn your place in this crowded world?
That's great. It starts with an earthquake.
You want to stay alive? Come with me. They killed every single person who's seen Utopia.
Snakes and airplanes.
Everything in Utopia is real.
Viruses, biowarfare, man-made disease.
Minnie Bruce is not afraid.
I'm the foremost expert on this virus.
Jesus.
It's a pretty serious situation.
You bet your ass it's a serious situation.
Stern's flu has now been declared a national pandemic.
This is our undoing.
But we can fight it. We'd just be going into the belly of the beast, practically begging to be slaughtered. Yes.
Yeah, what?
That's extreme.
How much evil do you have to do good?
None. None evil.
We've almost got there. Hello and welcome. Oh God, there we're going again. I've gone into a silly voice. Hello.
God, Dion. What have you done today to earn your place in this podcast?
Just I'm waiting for something to blow up, and then I fix it while I'm in the stream, and then that's what it is.
I love that all of the chat in the stream is currently just very excited that there is A, audio, and B, no echo.
Oh fuck! Like hello.
I'll leave you guys alone for 2 weeks. This is what happens.
Yeah. If it's not...
Honestly, Jill, it has been a trying time.
It has been a trying time. Not any trying that's any different. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, things are working. Shut up! Don't jinx it. Touch wood. Touch wood. Okay. Whatever's going on. Everything's fine for now.
This podcast is a utopia of audio going right.
Who are you?
Who am I? I'm Quinny. I'm going to get it out real quickly.
Yeah, excellent. I'm Dion. Moving on.
Hi, Jill. Hello.
And I'm Peter.
Hooray!
Yay!
That's just for those of us, those of you who can't read either the title or realizing this is an audio format, usually podcast.
But the thing is that sometimes an audio format, sometimes it's also a video format because these are now out and available on YouTube.
Sure.
Yes. So.
Yeah,
yes.
oh, great. And I'm just experimenting with microphone placement, so that's why I look like I have a weird bug, or Mike Pence's fly has joined me.
I just wanted somebody to lean across to him and go, Mike, you fly, Mike, you fly.
just anyway. Hello.
Anyway.
Hello, how is everyone? How are you guys? Because first off, I'm actually excited to see everyone. Hello, it's nice to see people. And Jill's been away, and Peter's there, and Quinny's there, and hello, and I haven't spoken to him, but also hello to everyone on the chat who's in there.
Hello,
and there's Beck. Hello, Beck. She's there.
Yay,
oh God, I'm going back into New Zealand accent. Hello.
Yeah, come back to any normal time or place.
Eventually, we'll wish there was no audio, but that's okay.
Ouch.
Harsh. No. Harsh, but fair.
This is what's happened while you've been away, Jill. Peter has gotten nastier, and it's great.
It's kind of like how
I am here for it, and I appreciate it.
You left me alone with them. What am I supposed to do?
It's kind of like this series, something that we probably wish we hadn't seen.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, that trailer kind of bangs, though.
The trailer? Oh my God. Where was that in the whole series?
So today we are talking about the 2020 adaptation, I don't know, American reimagining, whatever you want to call it, of Utopia, and that's not based on the Working Dog Australian.
Son of a bitch! I watched the wrong one.
I was a bit confused initially.
I was like, Rob Sitch is great. What are you talking about? But I didn't see any of those characters in the trailer for that one or any of the episodes. But no, I jest.
Yes, no, we are talking about the Amazon Prime, I guess, from the writer of Gone Girl, and based on the 2013/2014 BBC or British series. I was going to say
Channel
BBC,
4.
but it wasn't. It was Channel 4.
Channel 4. Yeah, the great. I have a lot of love. Who's seen the British one, the UK version, Channel 4?
I watched the first season this week.
Yay! Well done.
Kind of in between watching. Yeah.
Oh, terrible. Oh, no. You've got to. Well,
That must have been a really weird experience for you.
Not really. No.
No, just a normal experience. Okay.
I coped.
And who's seen the Australian series Utopia, which is about the
Nothing to do with
nation-building
anything.
authority? No. I don't know. It's kind of the same because shit goes as pear-shaped as it does in that show. Yeah, well, you can watch all of those ones if you wish. But yes,
Australian version is slightly less murdery, so
yeah,
you might be more in the mood for that at the moment.
It's more off-camera murder, is what I say. Like it's more political murder, the stuff that you see in that one. But yes, we are definitely talking about the Americanized, bastardized version, if I can use that phrase.
Well, you're playing your hand so early, Dion. You're letting us know exactly how you feel about it.
Yes, but I have to. That's the part of it. You have to know where I stand. I'm not going to be a fence sitter on this one.
Fair enough.
And it's old, but I have a lot of nice things to say about it.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh.
That's a bit of a threat, really, wasn't it? It's like, yes, I do. I have nice things to say about your little program.
Terrifying. So yeah, initially we actually reviewed the BBC series. We didn't review the first season of it. We reviewed the first and second seasons of the British one back in 2014, and it was the fifth show we ever did. Yeah. And if you want to know our thoughts on it, go back and listen to that. We were so much more succinct back there. That was like half an hour.
Oh, wow.
So fast.
You had structure.
Oh my! I don't know about that, but it was just short.
Yeah.
Like it was messy, but it was short.
We just didn't know. We were just doing it wherever we could. I think it was on a bus ride, wasn't it, somewhere?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But that was a show that came at an interesting time because at that point, 2012 had just happened, and nothing had happened. The Mayan calendar hadn't, brought us crashing to an end.
That's where you were going.
Yeah. And then we get this series in 2013, which is sort of, very, very interestingly looking at the future of where the planet's going. And at the time, we were like, oh, this is very dark, but very interesting, isn't it? What a fascinating thought experiment to have. Well, now we're living it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of, someone said that earlier, who said that it was the worst timed episode of television that's been released this year so far. It's like,
well, I mean, it's enough that they have to have a disclosure at the start of the show to say that it does not reflect any real world circumstances.
I know, right?
Maybe you should have rethought your release of this, maybe.
Yeah, that little disclaimer at the start of every episode really is a bit of a kick in the teeth, isn't it? And it's like, oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But please don't read into this, guys. QAnon, don't listen.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
a little bit problematic in that sense.
Yeah, there's a certain demographic of viewers who are going to watch the US version because it is on Amazon or however they see it, and just go, "This is just a documentary." And you're like,
yeah,
no.
Or this is being made to hide the fact that this is what they're actually doing. Because that's how you hide the truth. You hide it in plain sight. Yeah. Oh, and I've got these things that I'm gonna start pinning up on the board behind me and pointing at things.
I mean, all they couldn't include, all they forgot to include in this QAnon wet dream show was some sort of Pizzagate child pedophile.
Oh my God, yes.
And if they just slid that one in there, it would have just been like, hey. To be honest, I'm actually kind of surprised that there isn't more of that in there. Because I mean, I gotta say, like, I'm a massive fan of the UK one. Like, it has and I see your arch raise of the eyebrows, Peter. But I really dug the style of it and the way that it told its story. But this one, we're 8 years later, and I feel like there is not that much that has moved on. Like, if you're going to adapt to reflect the current world a little bit more. And I didn't feel like there was enough new in there. We've got Pizzagate, we've got QAnon, we've got all this weird, dopey conspiracy theory shit. I don't know. I feel like it could have done more. I'm waiting for the eyebrow.
I did this in a weird way because I knew I had to get through the US version because that's what we're talking about. But I wanted to taste the UK version so I knew what the point of difference was, because I don't love watching an adaptation before I watch the original. I like to know the source. But I didn't have a lot of time, and I was really having to slog through UK Utopia.
UK or US?
UK.
Really? It was a slog?
Oh, yeah. And this is, it's probably the time. And it was a different time when you guys watched it for the first time, but it's dense.
It is.
It's dense. There is a lot of just straight exposition when you meet new characters that you've really got to be paying attention for. And I kept finding that I was kind of taking it back because exposition would start and I wouldn't care that much about it. So I'd look at my phone, but then I get lost in the plot and I have to take it back to the beginning of the exposition to be like, no, you have to focus on this because you've got to be watching it. I just wasn't that, interested in it didn't grab me at all. So I slogged through 3 episodes of that and I thought, well, that's enough for context, and I've kind of got in 8 hour-long episodes to go in 1 week. So I jumped to the US version, slogged through that, and I thought, oh, well, there's only 3 episodes left of season 1 of UK. I may as well see how similar the ending was. So I slogged through the
Wow, holy shit. MVP.
You read all the recommended reading and did all the research.
And that's where I'm at. And my conclusion is that the US version tries to do more, but in doing so, it ends up somehow making less sense. But I'm not sure that one is that much better or worse than the other on balance, except that the one that came first obviously was more original in the way it was kind of unfolding those ideas. I did enjoy
Peter
in the US
and I are going to fight later,
though,
but that's okay.
The one thing that I did enjoy in the US version as a point of difference to the UK version is that the baddies are much more fleshed out and well-rounded, and in the UK version most of the time they're just kind of expressionless men sitting in a room for the most part. And in the US version they give them a whole creepy backstory, and John Cusack is super creep, and it's fairly successful in building a bit of creepiness around the conspiracy that the UK version didn't have. The UK version was just all built into exposition.
And you know what, I will agree with you that, because I went back and I thought, okay, I'm going to rewatch that first episode of the British one just to sort of remind myself what about it I liked and what I didn't like, and I got to the bit where it's the baddies, and it's I can't remember the name of the actor, and I'm going to have to look him up. Sitting there in a dark room, in a dark wood room with a quiet man sitting next to him. They're both very quiet, and I realized I couldn't remember them at all. I'd completely forgotten that they were in the actual original series, and I'd forgotten who the bad guys were. But then also there's a secondary character in the British one that I was like, oh shit, I'd forgotten about him entirely too. And I mean, admittedly, it's been 8 years or 6 years or whatever it is. You forget a lot. But I was like, oh shit.
Is it Stephen Rea, the actor that you're searching for?
Stephen Rea, that's the one. Yes. Thank you.
But I think that's one of the things I really liked about the British version in comparison, was that it is all about the banality of evil. The faceless, very boring men who are just sitting around playing giant life-changing scenarios with the world and at heart, they aren't memorable. You don't give a shit. They're not overtly evil. They're not sitting there going, they're just sort of going, yes, and now we're going to kill 3% of the population.
Yes, because
So there's like no agenda, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have
it is
their
actually
agenda, but it's not intrinsically.
It's the agenda of accountancy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, whereas, the Cusack version has a much more kind of weird, ooh, we're creepy, ooh, this is slightly moustache twirly.
Which is so weird.
Whereas the other ones are just a bunch of accountants who are just going, look, on balance, on paper, we're going to have to kill 10% of the world. What can you do?
But I mean, I thought that was really interesting in that switch between the two. And forgive me if I just start comparing, because that's, I think, where I live. In the US version, the ultimate evil people are more interesting. I think it's agreed. But the ones that you get introduced with, which I would say like Arby and those guys in the US version, are not as creepy or terrifying as the UK version, where Arby is fucking terrifying in the UK version. And then the people giving him the orders are boring. Like, that's really interesting. This one, the other way, it kind of came around and I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with Arby. And I was like, oh wow, that's real. That's weird. Like, they didn't get either the right actor or the right understanding of what that character is.
Yeah, I had a problem with that one, that, and I think it's perhaps the amount of time that you've actually got with the British one. But partway through the series, there's a bit of a twist and a change of heart. And I was like, fucking what? Where'd that come from? Whereas, in the UK one, there was a lot more understanding from my perspective as to where the changes of character kind of came from. But okay, just before we go any further, we should probably just say what the synopsis of Utopia is before we go all the way down into the rabbit
go
hole.
for it, Quinny. Tell us, what is Utopia about?
Utopia is a twisted 8-episode thriller about a group of young comic fans who discover the conspiracy in a graphic novel is real and embark on a high-stakes adventure to save humanity from the end of the world. I don't know about adventure. It is succinct.
Is it an adventure?
I wouldn't say adventure. I'd say more like no choice.
Terrifying survival.
Full disclosure, never got through the Amazon series, but did get through the other one. So I'm just curious to see whether or not, Quinny, as I know you've seen the UK one, does it do the whole thing? Is it a bottle thing, or are they looking for a sequel?
No, they're looking for a second season.
Yeah, see, that's fucked. Six episodes of UK, great. 8 episodes of US. Again, stop stretching shit out. You're going to end up very much like Bilbo.
There's 12 episodes in the UK.
It's sort of interesting though. It's a little bit interesting because I watched 3 episodes of UK before I started US, and by the end of the second episode of US, I was already further in the plot than 3 episodes of UK. So I don't know where they, I'd have to analyze where was stretched and where wasn't, but initially I actually felt like it moved a lot quicker.
Yeah, kind of. I found that.
But I do think that's also a part of your audience. If you're aiming at an American audience, there is an expectation that you're going to have to kind of crank the speed up a bit. It's going to have to be a bit more into the action, into the stuff. Like I found the US one kind of exhausting in some ways, just because there was so much yelling and screaming and
that's just
Wilson, just fucking shut up, dude.
No, but I've got to say, Desmond Borges, the actor, I really, really like. So I was a little bit biased when it came to Wilson because
Wilson in both series is actually really great. Wilson is really good in the UK series, and Wilson's really good in the US series. And I was like, I like these guys. Although I'm kind of curious a little bit to know, Jill, how you feel about it, because you don't know about the UK one. So you're not coloured.
No, I've only seen 6 episodes of the US one. I watched the 6th one today, and then I had to turn it off because I was just like not in the mood to keep watching this show.
Fair.
And to be honest, I don't think I will finish it. I'm just going to wait for Spoiler Town and get you guys to tell me what happened at the end. So I don't have to watch.
To be honest, you probably already know. I mean,
okay.
that's another point of difference between the two. The way the UK version is structured, the audience is completely in the dark almost the entire time. The US version does a lot of breadcrumbing, and by breadcrumbing, I mean throwing loaves of bread at you.
Look, honestly, I multi-screen when I watch anything, so I may not have hit those loaves of bread. So.
Ducking and weaving like a pro.
Like, I gotta say, like the first 2 episodes I found intriguing, like with the actual plot of the series. I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of not what I was expecting. But then now, like 6 episodes in, I'm just like, can we maybe speed up what the actual like agenda of these bad guys are? Like, why is it up to a bunch of kids to solve this? And I don't know. The mystery was just really boring.
Yeah, I kind of had that thing, and once again I have to put my hands up to it. I got to the end of episode 6, partway through end of episode 6, and ran out of time.
That's where I am too. I'm there. I haven't finished it.
Yeah. Okay. So Peter, you are currently the only one who has seen through to the end.
I didn't even want to. Trying to do my homework.
This is great.
Yeah, you always do your homework, girl.
So for the one person who did all the work, what are we presenting today? Over to Pete. No, I joke.
No pressure.
No.
I mean, yeah. Look, I to be honest, I don't have a lot to say about it. It's you know, it's there.
Yeah, I mean, I was so excited. Okay, I was so excited by this when it announced that they were going to remake it for an American audience, and that Amazon was taking interest in a great property that has a very distinct style and very cool ideas that I think, are just, I think as everyone notes, this is not of its time. Like, this is just a bad area to introduce this whole storyline into. Like, with
you kind of got to wonder that, don't you? Like, was
like,
there a meeting where they went, maybe we shouldn't release this now? Like, because this is not the right time for this show.
Like, production would have like finished before the pandemic hit because of like the actual time of release. So it, could have been a situation where they were sitting on it for a few months before they decided on releasing it.
Yeah,
distinct possibility, but then at the same time, would you just go, oh fuck it, let's wait for another year?
But also, like, I like the way the society has changed since then. Like, I mean, 2013, 2014, they're talking about stuff which is still considered underground, like superhero comic books, very specific. It's not superheroes, it's comic books. It's underground comic and art collecting in the UK. That's where it's based. What have they done with the US one? It's literally a convention about this thing that is a giant kind of property. Like, it's a thing.
No, I think you read that wrong. Utopia or Dystopia was still a fairly unknown property.
But still big enough to have a big, like a section of that
there were what, 10 or 20 people there who knew it.
It was maybe just a booth at the convention about Dystopia.
Yeah, and I mean, I certainly didn't feel like Dystopia was a big property.
I got the other way around, but okay.
Yeah. And I mean, and that really doesn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. I thought that introduction of kind of how Utopia came about also had basically the same sort of thing of being the obvious show don't tell. We found it in the house, and within 3 episodes, we found out where it came from.
Yeah.
And all of the mystery of it is kind of thrown at you pretty quickly. Who's making this? Oh, it's this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Guy. Yes.
What does he do? Oh, he does this. Oh.
That's why, like, towards the end, there's like just one part of the puzzle that needs to be popped in, and it's like they just keep dangling it, and I'm like, I'm so fed up with this.
And I think, one of the things that I absolutely loved about the UK series, and that was the big question that was always, it's interesting to ask the question, where is Jessica Hyde? Like, in the first season of Utopia UK, it's like, where is Jessica Hyde? That's a big hook. In the US version, it's like, where is Jessica Hyde? She's right here. Anyway, it's like,
Hang on. I mean, Jessica Hyde turns up in the first episode of the UK.
Yeah, I know, but it's still more of a mysterious kind of attitude, especially with the people hunting her. It's a hook. It's like, where is Jessica Hyde? Where is Jessica Hyde? I am Jessica Hyde. Okay, right, and you're just exposition. Like, it's kind of weird.
I'm actually really interested in your take on it, Jill, just because you don't have the UK one as a comparison.
Right.
Like, you have it as a pure American-based series that has no sort of context or anything.
Yeah.
Did it hook you? Did it? I mean, obviously not enough to the point where you wanted to keep watching, but did the first few episodes actually kind of draw you in?
Yeah, because I thought like the whole concept of, hiding a conspiracy in the pages of comics was just so clever. And I loved that there was like this tiny little fringe within a fringe of a group of people that, had a group chat where they discussed the conspiracy and tried to like solve some sort of world mystery. And then it just kind of all started to fall apart when they introduced Jessica, and then it became a fight for your life kind of thing where it's like, well, okay, now the bad guys are actually after this comic because they don't want us to know what the next world-ending moment is. And I don't know. I feel like it probably could have gone in a different direction and kept me hooked, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's just because like I don't really know what the motivations are for John Cusack and like whoever Mr. Rabbit is, and I don't understand like that side of the story. And
As
I feel
in,
yeah, like there's no real understanding for me as to why these people are inventing another disease.
and
Am I reading this
to
wrong?
the end?
Like...
There is a lot of exposition that actually explains everything in horrendous detail.
Yeah, but like
tedious, awful detail.
But out of 8 episodes, I have to wait till the last one to actually get any of that. Like, I want to just have a little bit more character development for the bad guys.
That's usually how a question hook works, is you have to wait to the end to get the answer.
It's true.
No, but they already have all the answers.
I don't know. I feel like I could have maybe had those answers now, and then there could have been a twist at the end. And that would bring me back for a second season.
And
am I just a cheap date? Like,
I mean, there's both. Whether that makes it satisfying, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of both. But it also starts to unravel in terms of reality and wait, is this science? Pretty quickly towards the end. And also in terms of like, oh, wait, you didn't have a plan for that? Okay, sure, this makes sense plot-wise. And that's why I do think it starts to kind of unravel a bit. I also felt
characters just feels a little bit vague for me at the moment. Like he's trying to invent a meat-free protein that doesn't rely on vegetables and also seems to be involved in a pandemic. Like I don't know. I don't get it. I do like Rainn Wilson's character, and I kind of wish that, he was a little bit more kick-ass.
like in Super?
Like, I wish that his character was, maybe met up with the kids a bit earlier, and then they had some kind of person that was actually involved in science that could help them understand the comic. But maybe, I don't know, do I just have to finish the end of this fucking show?
Look, I don't think you have to. No. There are a couple of twists in there that make things make a little bit more sense. But again, most of them are not surprising. Like most of them are like the entire time you're thinking, well, this person's acting conspicuously weird. And then, oh, well, there was a reason for that.
I think one of the things
not very twisty.
Yeah, I think the things that really started to give me the screaming shits about it were the really obvious choices of dialogue here and there. Like there were a couple of times where like there were almost like after a line because the dialogue was so cliched. There was a point where a character's significant other suddenly turns out to be a bad guy and literally has a throwaway kind of, a quippy line, and I went, "Oh, fuck off, really?"
Yeah.
And people are killing people and then having quips, and I was like, "Fuck, this is so American."
But I mean,
it has moments of what's trying to be comedy, but it doesn't fit the genre.
It wasn't edgy to have Jessica Hyde pissing into a toilet while standing up and holding a gun on everyone else.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of this stuff was really unnecessary.
Yeah, it was a bit weird, and like I thought it was kind of unnecessary to add the whole character of Samantha only to whatever happens to her in the spoiler section, which I'll talk about.
Look, I'm a little bit outside the culture, but I kind of also felt like they were having a bit of a dig in the first episode in the con scene, and that kind of pissed me off as well.
What do you feel like they were digging at?
Definitely having a dig, but that shit's all legit, man.
Hang on, which shit? The going up to the room and
yeah, the cosplay girls, the going back to the penthouse.
All of
the convention in a hotel.
Cosplay characters.
Fuck, I have been doing conventions wrong.
Dude dressed as a girl in pigtails. Like, I've seen all of that. That wasn't new for me.
Admittedly, yeah.
Although murder at the convention, that was new.
Yeah, that was kind of like, and then it's just totally brushed aside. But then again, it is America, where they do lots of murder. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that they moved, actually, the US one kind of went, some of the points from the UK one don't translate into the US version. And I was talking more about Grant and his character notes, which I said we'll get into spoilers. I don't want to give too much away in case you haven't watched it, but yeah, there's a few bits in there that I can pick apart.
I can see why they shifted that bit of the plot.
Sure, but why not? They've done everything else. I mean, I'd like to say I watched Utopia while also watching The Boys, the end of the season 2 of The Boys. So I was like, yeah, it's like I am watching Dystopia. I'm like, this is weird. Anyway.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe we're living in a world now, like in 2013, we weren't living in a dystopia.
Yeah.
We were kind of
desensitized to all of this bullshit.
Yeah.
Now it's just another day at the fucking office.
Yeah. Like the idea that, there's, a potentially bioengineered flu that is going to kill off a large proportion of the population. And a huge proportion of the population is not even going to try and stop it happening.
Yes.
In 2013, that was a shocking fucking concept.
Yeah.
At the end of 2020, it's actually fucking happening.
Yeah. How could
governments do the British one? Wilson's like, no, actually, fuck it. I'm going to join in with the bad guys. I believe that 10% of the population should die. Sorry, spoilers on that one.
Here I was trying to be all careful, and Quinny's like, fuck you.
All right. I just won't tell you whether that happens in the US one as well.
Okay, but that's the thing. In the UK one, that's at the end of the second season, and it's after a whole heap of horrendous shit has happened to him, which is given...
Second season, it's the end of the first season.
Yeah.
Of the UK one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Okay, I'm misremembering
That's the
that.
whole point. Jeez. Fuck, man. Quinny, I know it was a few years ago, but... How old are you?
Very. Look, there's grey in this fucking beard.
13 was only 7 years ago.
Shut up.
Only 7.
I'm not very good at numbers, okay?
Math is bad.
Math is hard.
Okay, so it's getting on a little bit. Like we've had a bit. Is there any good things about it? What did you like about the US one that you thought was good? How did you all find the music? It's terrible, and the shooting and the locations, it's terrible, and everything else about it, it's terrible. But
no, you know what's not terrible? I like the book art.
Yes,
the comic
and
art,
the animation.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well,
I was less enthused about the animation, but I love the art and the actual comic.
And that's I'm sad
Peter?
that I haven't.
Yeah,
you're blinking.
Cool.
Oh, okay. You're doing that.
I was just trying to think of other things that to add.
I'd be interested to find out who the artist was that made the...
Yeah, it's just something I forgot to look up. And they have the same kind of consistent art style from the UK one as well. Like the UK one has the same kind of
Kind of, but not as much. Like the UK one's a lot more kind of. I imagine the UK one could have been Dave McKean or someone like that.
Yeah.
Whereas this one's somebody who's a lot more figural and.
Well, it's like all kind of US shows. It's like we have an explanation, and it is a very literal explanation because it's like, see this leaf? This leaf looks exactly like a chromosome. That's how many it is, and this is exactly what it is.
This is leaves in the shape of Ghana.
Yeah.
Which
and there's 8 leaves here and 1 leaf there because 8 died and 1 survived. And I'm like,
yeah, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we're going to write the actual words inside people's eyes and stuff like that. And yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those series that I was excited for, and I thought maybe they'll go in an interesting direction. But do I think it's lost a bit of nuance? Yes. Do I like the UK one more? Yes.
So the thing that I think I enjoy about the UK one, and I remember at the time being really into, was its use of color. And this one is trying to use color. Like the DOPs and stuff like that are doing a lot to make, certain scenes and shots really high contrast in their colors and stuff like that. And they're trying to use the color yellow, which was a key kind of motif in the British one. But the British one has this thing of going, okay, it's yellow, but it's kind of a sickly yellow.
Yeah, it's super saturated. I like the idea that the UK one was super saturated in its color, like palette, because it was referring to comics and comic-y things. And this one, it's like the art of Utopia is a comic book, so we can use like a comic thing. It's telling a story. Whereas in the US one, it's kind of a side line. It's like, oh, it is kind of zany, and it's like, not really, because you don't feel any different. You don't feel like it's a different world.
I found it interesting, the use of animation, because that was something that certainly didn't ever show up in the UK one, and I was like, oh, that's kind of fun.
For a bit of consistency, I would have liked it, seeing that pop up throughout the series.
It did feel like it was kind of just thrown in there at one point,
like
didn't it?
How about whenever Jessica is talking about her past and whatever happened to her as a child, we see it in animation form. Similar to the story in Kill Bill when Oren Ishii told her childhood story and it was all in anime. Like, that was sick. Like, why not just bring that into this series and do it for all of her flashbacks?
Yeah, I think I would have enjoyed that. I'm going to rescind some of Dion's, it's terrible. If there's anything you did like, you are allowed to say it. Any of the music that you enjoyed?
I didn't really notice the music.
Okay.
So none of it was memorable for me except the comic art. I liked that.
Yeah.
I mean, look, bottom line is, if we weren't going to talk about it, I wouldn't have kept watching it.
True. Yeah.
Which, I guess it is what it is. There was, I think, John Cusack's creepy performance was nice.
John Cusack's a good actor. Like,
yeah.
So even he struggled in one of those sequences. Like there's the bit where he's yelling at the crowd through the loudspeaker and stuff. I'm like, oh fuck, you are giving this all, but it's a small crowd. It's badly shot. This feels hokey.
Tell you what, one thing I will say about it is that it doesn't really make you feel worse about the pandemic, because the pandemic storyline is very kind of backgrounded. I was kind of afraid that this was going to be like a contagion-y kind of thing when you told me that was a theme, and it's not. The pandemic is part of a plot that mainly plays out in the background, that is a bit of a means to an end. So I don't think they should have really worried about kind of releasing it now. It's not so much about the pandemic. It's about we don't really need depressing television at the moment. And the overall themes in this are super depressing, because while it might be heavy-handed and unnuanced, the overall themes, much like The Boys, are like, oh, fuck, that hits close to home. Also, get your vaccinations, everyone. Just, as a general thing, let's not be making people paranoid about that shit.
And that is an uncomfortable kind of thing with it.
That's why it's unfortunate.
Like when it's kind of saying, oh, by the way, vaccines may actually be controlled by somebody terrible and evil and stuff like that. You're like, oh,
Not doing
okay.
us any favors.
But at the same time, if a vaccine came out tomorrow that was released by the wrong people, if a vaccine came out of Russia or something like that, that I didn't feel had been fully tested, I would be just as worried. And
I think one already has. Yeah. Don't worry, the President of the United States is immune to the coronavirus now.
Oh, we should just, take a sample of whatever he is and synthesize that.
Let's not. We don't need to
don't get me started.
Yeah, sorry about that.
In the chat, who was it? Panda. Panda has said that he thinks it's Joao Ruas who.
Yes, it is.
And I'm looking at some of his art.
Cool.
And then I'm trying to find
I'm not sure.
I'm trying to find the one from the UK, like the artist from the UK series. But I would love for people to go out and search it down, because the US one, as I said, really clean, super structured, looks like it's drawn by an artist. The one in the UK, kind of crazy, a little bit more arty and interpretive. Could easily have been done as art therapy, which is the whole kind of notion of it. Like, it's kind of
the US one is definitely like more commercial.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
and edited.
Meanwhile, there's some cool visuals that the US one has tried to put out. Like, I mean, the ad with the rabbits on the carousel and all the characters on it, great. What a great kind of idea. So it's kind of half of the production is like, they really get it, and the other half of the production is like, quick, churn, make more, out now.
and
get money in.
What's an obvious way of doing this? Okay, do that.
Yes, I don't think people will get it. It feels like there may have been someone standing in the back going, I don't think anyone's going to get it. Let's make that more literal. It's like, oh God.
Yeah.
Very spoon feedy. And it would have been nicer as a watch if the twists weren't so obviously signposted all the way through. I think there was a happy medium between the UK version, which was very mysterious, very exposition-y, kept the audience as in the dark as the characters all the way through, and the US version, which is also very exposition-y but makes sure the audience knows more than the characters know, and signposts all of the twists like all the way through to a very annoying level. Like, what have you done to earn this place in this crowded world? Oh, I wonder what he cares. Like, it just hunks of bread chucked at. I don't want that, and I don't want to be dodging hints.
I must have been
I don't want to be
at my phone
dodging
every time.
setups.
Yes, I prefer the thing to take away isn't what have you done to earn your place in this crowded world. It shouldn't be the takeaway line. The takeaway line is, where is Jessica Hyde?
Yeah,
but said in that kind of monotonous, where is Jessica Hyde?
Okay. Let's rate it, and then we can talk about spoilers, because there is a bunch of stuff that I would like to still kind of.
Okay, then you start. What are you rating it, Quinny?
I'm gonna rate it 50%. It was literally only because we were reviewing it that I kept watching it. I probably would have stopped after episode 3. I tried to get on board with it. I don't particularly like this version of the characters. I don't care about any of them enough to want to see good things happen to them. Even this version of Wilson, even I found him really annoying and over the top and frustrating.
Yelly.
Yeah, it's not interesting to watch. I think it feels oddly cheap at times. Written by somebody who... Sorry?
Tell us what you really think.
I did. I
was going to have a harsh one on this, but I'm like, oh no. Oh, please, sir.
What? I didn't like it. It was kind of annoying.
Fair enough. I get you.
And then a brief return. Like, I went back and I watched that first episode of the British one, and I was like, oh, fuck, man. Arby is just so much more interesting as somebody who feels more broken. There's something about the banality of evil and the banality of the characters. Like the British one, they've got their sort of, one of them's Welsh and one of them, a couple of the characters like Ian is played by a guy who's in Misfits. And I kind of watched and I was like, oh yeah, shit, yeah, that's right. I forgot he was in that. And there was just something that feels a little bit more like these are believable people. Maybe it's because I don't know. I find the American thing just a bit over the top.
Sure.
But yes, it's a straight up 50 from me. Watch it, don't watch it, I don't care. Okay, Jill.
I'm going to give it 55 because I'm also quite apathetic about it and I can't compare it to the UK one. So I probably can't shit can it as much. Like, there's no comparison.
Go on. It's fun.
But like, yeah, if I don't know, if I had been in a different state of mind, maybe I could have watched the whole thing. But yeah, it's just like I was not in the mood for this heavy drama, and yeah, it's not as bad as some things that I've had to watch for our reviews. So
Wow. True.
Yeah.
Like it's no Dungeons and Dragons the movie.
No, it's no C.
Oh, hang on a second.
Now, there's one I never finished.
Yep.
I don't know. I put this in a similar boat to see. It's like I'm not going to finish either of them.
Yeah.
You'll never see Utopia.
I'm going to say 58. I was going to say 60, but it seemed like too much given I wouldn't have watched the whole thing if we weren't going to talk about it. I don't have a lot to say for it either way. It's fine. It's very American. It's, it has plot. Sometimes it makes sense.
We are the damningest by faintest praise of all, aren't we?
I don't want to shit on it because it's not like terrible,
No,
and
it's
it's hard
not.
to make a TV series.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And there are, there were some good performances and some good things about it, but I'm just going to put this in the not in the mood bucket. But it's not a high rated not in the mood bucket. Like, when I say I wasn't in the mood, but I could tell it was really good. I was like, I wasn't in the mood and I probably won't come back to it when I'm in a different mood.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Gotcha. And Dion.
40.
40.
Oh.
No, I didn't like it. I mean, it's easy. Like, I can give you the long version, but we don't have to. Like, 40, I didn't really like it. Go watch the UK one again. Also, the UK one has...
I get the feeling from Peter that that's not even something you'd recommend.
Look, if you're in the mood for a very dense piece of mystery/thriller television, go for it.
Also like the UK one because it has Ian McDiarmid in it, so I was already sold on that one a bit, and I'm like, yeah, I want to see him act some more. Thanks very much. Yes, but yeah, no, 40. It was fine. Do I want to watch the end of it? Not really. I don't really give a shit what happens to all these characters. Did they save the world? Don't care. Have to save the world myself. There's a pandemic that's still on, which I keep reminding people when I'm in public. Is like, for fuck's sake, could you please put a mask on your face? There is still a pandemic going on. It didn't go away.
And maybe that's one of the other things is I'm waiting for for the normal people in the Utopia, the world of this thing, to start acting like morons.
Yes. All right. Okay. Quickly, we should go to the trailer, which will have perfect audio and nothing will ever go wrong. And then we'll come back with the spoilery section. How's that sound? Pretty good. Pretty good.
Great plan. Let's do it.
All right.
Dystopia appeared in 2014.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, I could hear it in our ears, but it clearly wasn't going into your ears.
There. Oh, sorry. Just there's a bit of a logo just all over Pete's face. Let's just move that around a bit. There we go.
Good.
Perfect.
Okay, you got to see some very pretty things, and this is why we invite people to come and listen to the podcast, because that's where we edit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Well, that one was
I hope you all
unfortunately...
enjoyed me sucking the last dregs out of my can of Coke.
No.
I don't think they could hear you. They just couldn't hear anything.
Okay. I thought
No,
it
they
was
couldn't.
the
Yeah,
other
they couldn't
way
hear
around.
anything. It's fine. Anyway, that was the long explanation about what Utopia was and how amazing that is.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think I forgot that I watched that because
Yeah.
I wished that I had remembered that at the start of the series, and then I might have cared a bit more. I don't think I was in the right frame of mind when I started this show.
I don't think any of us were in the right frame of mind for this show.
Yeah. And that it is a difficult thing when you're sort of going, oh, okay, I've got to get into a headspace. And if they're doing a lot of the kind of exposition-y kind of stuff up front,
Yeah.
do you then have to go back and rewatch that bit later on to kind
I
of
kind of really like that scene though, because that was Wilson explaining very, very not aggressively, but very, very intensely to his sister or
I'm gonna say his niece. Maybe?
Someone, the person that he was living with in the house with, about what Utopia is, and just having that person look at him like, okay, thanks, crazy uncle, or crazy brother, like, thanks for explaining that to me again. I don't particularly want to know. And then he has a very loving dad and all those sorts of lovely things, and that's why I still like that character. That character is a good character either in the UK or the US version. I think all the rest of the characters gave me the shits. Except for Samantha, and I was just fucked off with what they did to Samantha. I thought she was a good addition.
Okay, what was it about Samantha that you liked?
I love that she was the non-stereotypical kind of underground fringe interest person that they represented. She was very kind of sporty spice, and she had a terrifying job in the future, where she was painting grass green, dead yellow grass. That was just cool. Like, I mean, that's her job. And then, she didn't look like someone in that way who would be into the kind of fringe stuff. And then she was, and then they got rid of her. And I was like, well, that's annoying. Like, why would you introduce a character?
Yeah, why set up a
boundaries
character with a complete backstory and then just...
that helps to make it accessible for an American audience, even that
Oh,
kind
because
of stuff.
you need to make sure that Jessica Hyde is somebody of note and somebody who's dangerous and somebody who...
There were too many women! Shoot one!
Oh, no, it's okay then. We'll have the woman do it.
It's not fridging if a woman does it.
Yeah. Can't fridge a character if the woman's already in the fridge.
There's definitely a higher body count overall in the US one, but one of, I think, the big point of differences, and I know this entire thing is just turned into a comparison when it's supposed to be just a review of the US
Yeah,
one.
sorry,
But,
everybody.
the first scene in the UK one is like,
It's
it
amazing.
just hits the ground running.
Yeah.
Let's just creepily murder
people.
multiple people in a comic book store, and you don't know why or what's going on, or like, oh my god, what is this? Whereas the American one is this like random saccharine couple like going into a house, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
this isn't what I signed up for. Who are these people? So that's straight out of the gate. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, and it's going to be slightly saccharine, or it's going to be a bit twee, or it's going to be, explain more than it needed to. I mean, the moment that they explained where, Utopia was found, I was like, oh.
Yeah, straight away.
I kind of like it just showing up. I mean, there was a part of it where they are kind of doing the bidding, where they're trying to go, how much is this thing worth, that I thought was clever. But in the UK one, it's just a rich guy's got it. Where did he get it from? Fuck only knows.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Fuck yeah.
That's not the point. That's not the story. And I was like, I dig this.
Yeah, that's the sort of stuff that I like. Some of the adaptation in the American one, like, how do we make this Americanized? How do we use that? And I think you're right in saying, by making the evil characters a little bit more cartoonish and giving them a bit more of a reason for it. Like, I mean, in the UK one, it's all about population because it's the unsustainability. In the US one, it's all about commerce. It's about how much money that they can kind of make on the back of that.
That's a head shake from Peter.
Well, I mean,
as the person who didn't watch till the end.
Yeah, but
Yeah. I was going to say,
what happens in the end? Explain it to us.
It's the exact same reason. It's all about population in both cases.
Yeah.
But who's making
and that's
that?
kind of what I figured is that like he's all about the fact, what have you done to earn your place
in this crowded world?
Yeah,
oh no, the world is
it's-
crowded. I wonder what this bad guy wants to do.
I need to be able to.
front is the opposite. He's like trying to create sustainable protein, which is like obviously for food shortage
That's-
problems, which is the complete opposite of like I want to purge society.
Oh, but it's
It's just a front.
it is just
That
a
the
front.
whole protein
frustrating.
thing was just a way to get people freaked out about the virus.
But I
Yes.
like the idea that it's more of a governmental thing, regulation, instead of a corporation sort of factor.
Well, the UK one, you kind of get the feeling like it's somebody, an old boy who is part of the House of Lords, or is a billionaire, like, who is so far above the law because he just buys whatever the fuck he wants, and has decided this is how I'm going to go about fixing the world as I see it. Whereas this one, it's a little bit more Elon Musk. It's a little bit more kind of
Yeah, so is
Because
it his own prerogative, or is there like some Illuminati conspiracy that's behind it all?
He's not exactly what one might call the head of the snake. Why we do find out at the end. Spoilers, guys. I mean, you're here and you didn't watch it, so that's like it is what it is. But it's I think the point of difference is that for these people, unlike the UK one, it isn't just about culling the population. It's about replacing it then with their version of what Utopia would be. So they're raising this society and these children in a very particular way to be, completely free of judgment, and they're raising these really creepy kids in this commune, who also become, their assassins and their armies and that kind of thing. So they take the extra step of saying, they want to cull the population and replace it with this population that they're grooming in this weird commune. So it does kind of take an extra step.
And is the intent there that they are going to be like, a sort of religious kind of thing, or is it irreligious and it's just these are the better humans?
Yes, it's not religion. It's
But that is
This
just
is the group that call themselves the Harvest, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And see, this is the sort of thing that I'm kind of is that enough of a twist to make you go, oh my god, that's shocking, or is it one of those ones where you're like, and like,
Well,
kind of
you are
bring it
like,
on.
and because they signpost it so ridiculously well that it's not a surprise.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, this person clearly wants to make the world less crowded. I wonder what he could be trying to distribute this to the whole world for.
Yeah.
It's not surprising.
So is John Cusack Mr. Rabbit?
No, which is also not surprising. But you're led to think that he's Mr. Rabbit till the very last moment. Do you want to know?
Yes, because
Sure,
I
'cause
don't want to watch it.
Yeah, no one's going to watch it.
I just need to know.
We'll just signposted a little bit for all the people in the chat who may want to go away.
Just stick your fingers and go la 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 la.
Yeah, do what I do and go and eat a burger.
Just not of the weird.
It's the exact same twist as in the UK.
It's the woman.
For those who
It's
haven't.
Milner,
Who's that?
the CIA agent.
I thought she was from the FDA.
Home.
Oh,
Home
the
Affairs.
Homeland Security lady
Homeland
that was in
Security
it for
lady,
like
yeah.
one episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
She in the UK version, that character takes a much bigger role.
Yeah, because there's a whole bunch of conspiracy stuff, like not conspiracy, but more that banality of evil and political maneuvering that is in there from the very start. Like, I mean,
I'm glad I didn't waste another 2 hours.
They-
to find that bullshit out.
they blackmail a minister into doing their bidding in the UK one, which is almost completely removed, isn't it? In the
Oh yeah,
US one?
there's nothing of that left in here. That whole we found out about your Russian girlfriend who's now pregnant, and we're going to tell the world about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like dumb stuff that I can just understand.
So the equivalent of that is Rainn Wilson's wife. Rainn Wilson's wife is the Russian girlfriend equivalent, because she's the character that you're supposed to be like, oh my god, she's one of them. Except again, so fucking obvious. She was so weird from the beginning.
Yeah,
like, whose
absolutely.
wife is that weird?
Yeah, super positive.
Whose wife is that supportive of them?
See, okay, the thing I wanted to come back to was the whole thing of Arby. Now, in the UK version, Arby is a really creepy character, and you kind of there is this complete sort of disconnection between him and the world around him, and it takes a long time for him to start coming around to even seeing other people as people. And by episode 6 in the American one, he's like starting to turn on his masters and make decisions based on that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, but why? I didn't even get that one. Like, I didn't get why.
Yeah,
he
I
would
didn't feel that
change.
at
like,
all.
In the UK one, there's a really it's a really interesting character development where you've got people who you thought were good go evil, and people who you thought were evil go good. It's interesting. In this one, it's just like, oh, he's good now. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Like,
yeah, that's.
By the same token, they let Wilson off very lightly in the US one. In terms of his turn.
Yeah.
Because that's a great villain turn for the UK one, where you're like, oh shit.
It's nothing like that. It's much softer, which I didn't mind because, like I said, I really like Desmond Borges, and I don't like seeing him be bad. If you want to see him in something that's really good, you should check out the excellent comedy drama You're the Worst, which is a much better and more fun watch than this. Just want to get that plug in there because it's a really good series.
Yes. Do you want to feel better about yourself? Watch that one.
Yeah.
There's no more Ted Lasso.
Well, no, that's actually not a terrible. It's not the bubble bath. Like it can be quite dark, but it's a good watch. Do it. Don't watch this. Watch that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can't have winners all the time.
And that's what I would come back to. This, like, at the moment, if you're in Australia or I'm assuming in the US as well, you've got the option. You can literally go onto Amazon Prime or whatever, and you can choose which version of this you watch. They're both there. They're both accessible.
Either watch You're the Worst.
And they're both options to not choose as well.
They are, absolutely. You could, if you wanted to, watch You're the Worst.
All I'm saying is there's still a little bit of time between now and the 31st in Australia for the Mandalorian Season 2.
Also, Quinny, all Parks and Rec is just on Amazon.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I started watching it. That's been my happy watch for the last week, is like Parks and Rec from the beginning.
Jill, did you take the advice that we got, which is watch Ted Lasso? Have you been able to find Ted Lasso?
I did. I watched it in a day and it was so lovely.
Yes!
Yay!
It is. It's like a warm heart.
I love Jason Sudeikis. Yeah. And like, it was such a different thing for him. Like, his comedy is usually crass, but this was so cute.
Heartwarming.
Yes.
Wow.
Wholesome.
The additional podcast.
Talking about Ted Lasso again.
Yeah, let's just go back to that.
Utopia.
Yeah.
Look, I've got to say, there were a bunch of things while I was watching it that pissed me off about the plot because it didn't make sense. And I thought, I'm going to talk about that in spoilers. And I care about it so little that I've forgotten what they all are.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same.
It's good. Yeah.
Like, there are all these sort of things where there's, talk about the twins and the obvious thing of the kids who, or the genetic manipulation of his children, like, so that Corey Michael Smith, is a whatever.
Oh, that was Corey Michael Smith. I was watching him going, why do I know him? And then I realized I know him.
Yeah, you've literally interviewed him for this podcast.
He came to my birthday party.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's right. You hung out with the Riddler.
Yeah, I don't think he really knew that he was going to that sort of a party, but he did. He did turn up. That was kind of funny.
Yes.
Lovely fellow.
Yeah, lovely fellow. In this one, I was kind of like, okay.
Yeah, banality of evil again, but it's kind of, yeah. Oh, look, I haven't got much more to go on about this. Yeah, Utopia, watch it if you want to. I think the UK one is far superior to the US one, but then Pete is not on that bandwagon, and we're going to fight.
Also, we are going through the lens of nostalgia. We're going by a TV series that we watched 6+7 whatever years ago.
When it was new and exciting and thrilling and shocking.
Yeah, and also I didn't think it was bad, just not for me and not for me right now.
Sure.
Like, just very dense. I'm in the mood. Give me some Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Staged. I Staged was my Ted Lasso this week, so I broke this up with a bit of that.
I watched an episode of Staged,
Argue.
and I'm very excited about watching more of Staged.
Oh.
Watching David Tennant and Michael Sheen just kind of swan around being tedious and boring at each other, but at the same time in a really charming and lovely way. And Michael Sheen being just good at everything, and David Tennant being a sook.
Speaking of
eminently watchable.
Eminently watchable. What are we watching next? Or for next week? What are we doing next week? Because we have a plan, don't we?
We do. I can't remember it, so you're going to have to remind me.
Truth Seekers.
Oh, yes.
Remember, we're doing Mirror Universe, Dion and Quinny, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. No, just Nick Frost's new television series.
Right.
Truth Seekers, where he is finding out the truth about ghosts.
Okay, yes. Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
Super excited for that. Like, we've seen like the trailer, and there is some. It looks like a fun blend of comedy and actual scariness. And I dig that. I like that.
But it is Amazon, so we're doing 2 Amazon series back to back.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I did also suggest Stargirl, but that will be somewhere down the track.
We're still coming up. We're like, there's more there.
Didn't we also just do The Boys? Like,
Yeah,
Amazon's getting a lot of our attention at the moment. Maybe we
need to
love. Netflix and Stan are going to start feeling rejected.
Well, they're going to start pushing
Stan can
stuff
feel rejected
out.
from me because I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's still a Brave New World. There's still a bunch of other stuff there, and we also, as I have said, we need to come back to review the ends of the seasons that we started reviewing, like C. So don't forget, Peter, you can still...
No, I'm not going to watch the rest of it.
Sorry. I just watched 8 episodes of Utopia. You can't now tell me to watch.
Yeah, I don't want to watch the end of Utopia and have to talk about that. Right?
No, I mean, I want to watch a couple of, have a podcast about just to catch up with multi-level, only because I really still need to talk about the end of Raised by Wolves.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
I want to talk about the end of The Boys season 2.
Again, one we can do in the future. Like, we'll come back.
Well, no, I think we do it all in that wrap-up show. We wrap up the end of Raised by Wolves. We wrap up
The Boys season 2.
I'd also like to talk about Lower Decks, which is something that nobody is talking about, but I'm actually digging a great deal.
The end of Doom Patrol season 2. We really didn't talk about the end of it.
Okay. So
Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country. Remember?
I haven't seen this week's one. All right, I need to go.
See, there's many.
See, there are so many better things to watch. That's all I'm saying.
And you know what? I think that's a very, very important takeaway. There is so much more that you can be doing with your time than watching Utopia.
But that's why we review these things, so you don't have to.
that used to be our thing.
This week, guys.
Not the Australian one. Go and watch the Australian Utopia again. That's quite funny. That's a funny one. No,
is it?
Perfect.
I've never watched it.
Really?
No.
Fuck all. That's on iView too. Come on, man. It's funny. It's
okay.
Like, if you've ever worked for a bureaucracy or in government, you'll just be pissing yourself.
You know where I work.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah.
Will we?
Yes.
I don't know. When does the economic collapse come? Anyway.
Okay. Yes. Look, thank you so much for joining us. If you have watched either of the Utopias, if you've watched the British one or the American one or the Australian one, please send us your emails, voicemails, your opinions, feelings. You could perhaps do a dance, like an interpretive dance. Send us a video of it and we will react to it. Thank you, Peter, for interpretively dancing.
Give us your best TikToks.
Yes, please send us your reels.
I'm so old. I don't know. What the fuck's a TikTok? I don't know. TikTok's what a clock does. Fuck.
Follow us on our Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, all of those things. But please talk to us because we feel lonely and we love you.
And don't talk to us on our TikTok. We don't have one.
No,
but Beck's got one. You can follow. She's Go for it.
Yes.
And thanks for joining us in the chat. It's always lovely to see you. Virtually.
Yes. Oh, and if you are wanting to see these things, you can now find them on the YouTube. So if you listen to the podcast and you're thinking, I wonder what their faces look like, but I'm never free on a Tuesday night. Now you can go to the YouTube and you can watch the video and know exactly how badly we fuck up our live streams.
or on Twitch occasionally. Like, they're still held for a little while there. But YouTube is forever.
Yes, exactly. YouTube is forever and Twitch is for about a week and a half.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, excellent. Well, look, I consider this show a 96% success.
Good. I'm glad.
Okay, well, we'll get to 100 one day.
Okay.
Who have you been?
I've been Quinny.
Excellent.
I've been Jill.
I've been Peter.
Hey, and I've been Dion.
Yeah.
Join us next time as we watch the excellent show Truth Seekers,
Yes.
which is not Utopia. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see 'em flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer 'em on so proud. Deep-powered girl keeps staring at her face, and call Colossus and have 'em teach me ways, and then we'd exercise. I'd be one of the guys. Martial arts from iron fist and wall. I'll dance her up and teach her all my songs. Oh, I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not cooking up these heroes at my parents' restaurant now. I wanna yell out Avengers assemble, not order up for Ethel. Yeah, we're right up cheeky now. Date Emma Frost and have her read my mind. Or Magdalena, her artifacts I find, and then we catch a symphony. It'll just be her and me. Call Bucky Barnes and arm wrestle for